Brooklyn 214 podcast. We back. It's your boy KFK Lou over here. Got my boy Brooklyn right here.
Let's go.
We have a special guest today. Got him on the phone. We got a special guest today. Mr. Chris Arnold from 105.3 The Fan, from K104 from back in the day, even 1310 The Ticket from back in the day. It's a celebrity to us. So, special guest. How you doing, Chris?
Morning, Kevin. Morning, Brooklyn. How y'all doing?
Doing good,
man.
Great to have you.
Yes, sir, man. Thanks again for agreeing to do this with us.
Sure.
So today we're gonna talk about NFL predictions. Week 5, I believe it's week 5, right?
Week 5. Yeah.
We already had the game Thursday night with New England taking out the Colts. I thought that should have been a blowout, but hey, I don't think New England got the juice this year.
Yeah, that run is over. That run is over.
Yeah. So, Chris, what you think about that game before we get into the rest of the predictions?
Well, just like you said, New England don't have the juice this year. That's because Brady and Belichick ain't getting along. It's a shotgun wedding right now. It's a shotgun marriage. They kind of tired of each other. They get on each other's nerves. And New England just doesn't have they don't have the depth like they used to. I will say this. You still got to go through New England to get to the Super Bowl. And I wouldn't be surprised because if they're still in the hunt, because Belichick always has stuff up his sleeve. I will say this, there's a lot of people in the New England area, the Boston fans area, man, they still mad at Belichick for not playing Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl. They saying that cost them the Super Bowl. So even though Belichick is right up there, him and Nick Saban, they're coaches, people don't, they don't ever doubt them, they don't ever disagree with them. There are people in Boston, they really still upset about him not playing Malcolm Butler. The cornerback that saved them against Seattle a couple of years ago, and the only starter on defense that played every snap until the Super Bowl, he wouldn't play him one time.
I definitely agree with you on that. The crazy thing about that is, it's not looking like a bad idea the way Malcolm Butler is getting burnt this year. Have you been keeping up with him this year?
Doesn't matter. That doesn't matter about that. You let him get burned in the Super Bowl, and if you lose that game, then you let him walk. But
That's
you
true.
don't do it ahead of time and then open yourself up for criticism. That's called egomaniac.
Yeah,
that's true. Hey, but
definitely.
Belichick, he pretty much has a free pass.
He does.
A free pass, do whatever he want in New England.
Like Nick Saban. There's two people in America, Nick Saban and Belichick.
Oh man, both jerks, man. I actually like Saban though. So Belichick, I can't get with him. I'm a Saban fan though. I'm an Alabama and Florida State fan. Now, speaking of college, real quick, your Sooners lost surprisingly to me. Actually, I picked them to win. I picked Texas to win yesterday, but I was just throwing a shot out and I was just throwing a dart out there. I didn't expect it to actually happen. So, what's your opinions on that?
Well, first of all, let me say this. I've covered that game, oh my goodness, over 20-something times. I mean, I've been out there almost every year from 1976 on. I'm serious. I've only missed, I might have missed 7 games since 1976. And I will tell you this. That was one of the most all-time exciting games in that classic. 48-45 was the final score. The most points combined scored by both teams.
Mm-hmm.
The place was going absolutely nuts. I wasn't out there yesterday. I had to do an event for 105 to the Fan, a game-watching party for 105 to the Fan. Otherwise, I'd have been there. But let me say this. I feel bad for Kyler Murray. For those who don't know the story, he won all these state championships for Allen High School.
Mm-hmm.
He had never lost a game as a starting quarterback except when he was in junior high. Since he was in junior high, he lost one time as a starter, and then he lost yesterday. He had 2 turnovers, the interception and then the fumble, and then he brought them back. So, again, as a Sooner, because I graduated from OU, I'm mad at the defense and the defensive coordinator in particular, Max Stoops. They're going to run him out of the state. In fact, there's a lot of people saying just leave him at the fair. Just leave him at the fair. But I have to give Texas credit for the win.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say this. I've always told my friends who went to UT, I don't hate UT. I've never hated UT. I want UT to be good. So when we beat them, it means something.
Okay. I understand that. Again, I can't talk, man. I'm a Florida State fan. We blew a 20-point lead yesterday in the second half alone. Mm-hmm. The turnover chains came out and it was a wrap for us. So I can't
By the way, I want to say something. A couple years ago, I went to a Florida State game. I think it's Florida State Clemson, and that stadium, boy, they get to rocking. They start doing the chop. That's what I ain't never seen some stuff like that. A&M got the crowd with a 12th man going. Clemson is real loud, but I've been fortunate over the last 4 years to go to a lot of big college football games all over the country. Sports Illustrated and CBS will send me these games, and I do a tailgate tour for them. So I've had a chance to go to some of the biggest games in the country. And I will say that atmosphere at Florida State at Tallahassee is unreal.
It's up there. I went to the game when they played Oklahoma State down here when Jameis was here.
I was at that game.
Yeah, it was. I was shocked by the amount of fans that came to Dallas and took over their stadium. And then speaking of the games out here, my boy Brooklyn, man, he's an LSU fan now. I got him to the LSU Miami game.
Let's go LSU,
man.
You
know I know you're happy about that.
We lost. That's all right.
So I've been telling him all season, Chris, that they have no chance against Alabama. No chance. And he don't want to listen to me, man. So
well, put it like this. Crazy things can happen.
Exactly.
You remember that game a couple of years ago when Alabama kicked that field goal? It was short, and Auburn took it to the house, and that flipped everything. Hey, even this past year when Alabama won the national championship, you know they didn't win their division. I mean, it was crazy.
That's true.
But they got into the playoff, and they handled up. And they only switched quarterbacks at halftime. That's what won them the national championship.
Yeah, I'm still stick by mine. I'm still stick by mine. I don't think they have a chance.
I know you will, because that's what's been working until proven otherwise. But I will say this: the biggest threat to Alabama in the Southeast Conference is Georgia and LSU.
I give you Georgia. LSU, man, you got to think Alabama has the best offense that Nick Saban has ever had, in my opinion, right now.
If you don't go into control freak mode like Bill Belichick did. Remember, he did not want to switch quarterbacks at halftime. The only reason he did, I don't know if you know the story. I was talking about this on the air on 105.3 The Fan. I found this out from a beat writer this was like the day after they won the championship, and he was all giddy and happy, and he wasn't dogging out Nick Saban. He was just explaining what happened. And then I just kept that in mind because I know Nick Saban's a control freak. He said, this is what happened. He said that the wide receivers for Alabama were about to transfer. They were all on Snapchat saying, this is a bunch of junk. They love Hurts. They thought Hurts is a great, they love him to death. They like him as a person. They think he's a great leader, but he don't throw the ball. And they trying to have NFL careers just like Julio Jones.
Julio, you're right.
And all of them were going to transfer. And the reason why is because Tua was looking so good at practice. And then that week of the game, Hurts had the flu. And so Tua was doing everything in practice. And then wide receivers said they were transferring. And don't think it's a joke, because if you look around college football today, quarterbacks be transferring left and right like it ain't nothing. Right. So these wide receivers saying, look, we trying to have pro football careers, and Coach Saban, all he want to do is run the ball. He refused to throw the ball, and we will transfer after this game. That's what they were putting on Snapchat to their friends. And so Saban knew what Tua was doing at practice during the week when Hurts had the flu. And so he made that decision because they wasn't getting nothing done. Meanwhile, Georgia's quarterback was killing them. And by the way, Georgia's quarterback was supposed to go to Alabama, and he wound up going to Georgia because Tua went there. And then I think one of the receivers that Alabama was going to go with, he wound up going to Georgia because that quarterback was going to throw the ball. All I can say is there was going to be a mutiny. And that's why when this season started, because Nick Saban is hard-headed, and he's one of these old-fashioned coaches that think when you throw the football, only one good thing can happen, and that's a completion. The other two things are bad, a pick or an incompletion.
Right.
It was because of the mutiny possibility, and that's why he kept saying, we got two quarterbacks. He would never just say two is the quarterback. All because he likes control, and Hurts gives him control. And by the way, the players don't hate Hurts. They love Hurts, but they know Tua is the better quarterback.
That's true. That's true. So not to waste too much more of your time, man, we'll go ahead and get into these NFL predictions for you for this week. Now, first game, we have Tennessee at Buffalo. Who you have on that one?
Tennessee. I don't believe Josh Allen's the real deal, even though he showed up 1 week. You know, I don't give him credit for being the real deal, and I don't think Buffalo knows what they're doing. I think Tennessee is surprising everybody being 3-1 right now. I'm just going to give them this one. I'm not saying Tennessee is a legit threat to go to the playoffs.
Right.
I'm just going to give them this one.
I got Tennessee as well. Who you got, Brooklyn?
I got Tennessee.
Okay, so then next one we got Miami at Cincinnati. Two surprising teams to me. Who you got
The
on that one,
surprise
Chris?
team is Miami, but I'm going to give it to Cincinnati on this game right here, even though it's going to be a nice showdown. I just think Cincinnati is loaded. I'm not saying they're going to go anywhere in the playoffs. They never win a playoff game, but they loaded.
Yeah, they gritty too.
Yep.
See, we did a podcast back in July. I actually said I picked Cleveland to win more games than Cincinnati, so I'm actually going for them to lose today. Just for that reason.
I'm not mad with you on that. I've actually picked. Now this sounds crazy, but I had to have a crazy pick. I actually said Cleveland got a chance to go to the playoffs, and let me tell you why. If Buffalo can do it last year, first time in 17 years, Cleveland can do it this year.
No doubt.
I had them at 8-8 this year. They kind of messing it up already, but we'll see how they go.
Hey, it ain't over. Hey, look, this is the first part of the season.
Yeah, that's
If
true.
it ain't over for the Cowboys, it ain't over for Cleveland.
We're gonna get to the Cowboys.
Oh, I know you rubbing your hands.
Yes, sir. The next one, actually, Baltimore at Cleveland. I'm taking
Cleveland, even though Baltimore is the real deal.
Really, I'm taking the Ravens on
The only reason I'm picking Cleveland is because Cleveland got this emotional thing going for them. See, there's something to be said if you believe. And the way they lost to the Raiders, the referee stole that game from them, so they were still believing themselves. You see what I'm saying? And that when the ref take a game from you and you know you won it, that galvanizes the team in the locker room.
Right.
And Baltimore, don't get me wrong, I think Baltimore is a solid team, but I think Cleveland's gonna beat them this time.
Okay. I'm gonna stick with Baltimore. Who you got?
I'm gonna go with the Ravens on this one.
So okay, so we agree on that one. Chris got Cleveland. We gonna see. I'm gonna hit you up on Twitter on this one, Chris.
Hey, listen. You know I'm not gonna go get my boy Baker Mayfield. Come on now.
Oh yeah. Oh you right.
You.
So we got Green Bay at Detroit. This one's pretty easy for me.
Yeah, me too.
I got
Green Bay.
Yeah.
Yes.
As long as Aaron Rodgers can set foot on the field, they can dope him up, shoot him up, whatever it takes. He ain't gonna lose.
Exactly.
Yes,
Unanimous vote.
I can't believe this is a noon game. Jacksonville at Kansas City.
I'm gonna tell you why it's a noon game. Because what's the noon game?
Jacksonville and Kansas City.
You know what? That's because probably before the season started, they didn't believe in Kansas City. You know how their schedule makers do. They don't start flexing the schedule till December.
Yeah, that's a shocker for me. Even both of them last playoff teams last year, I believe, right?
Yeah, but you know how Kansas City always fade at the end there. You know they don't believe in Kansas City. Kansas City ain't got no juice right now. They do. I'm talking about before the season started.
Okay.
They didn't know what they had with Kansas. I'm talking about the TV schedule makers.
So who you got in that one, Chris?
Oh, I'm still believing in Mahomes' magic. I want to see Mahomes do some more. Don't get me wrong. Jalen Smith
Ramsey.
what's his name? Cornerback. Yeah, Jalen Ramsey.
Florida State
He's gonna
legend.
talk that talk, and it's going and Tyreek Hill. That's gonna be the showdown right
Yeah,
there.
they've been talking smack too.
But
As a
yeah,
return
but the
specialist.
the bottom line is, I think something until Mahomes gets stopped, and this might be the game. I'm going with Kansas City till he loses.
Okay.
I agree with you on that one, Chris.
You got Kansas City too?
I got Kansas City.
Okay, I'm gonna talk noise both of y'all. on Twitter.
Because Blake Bortles ain't gonna get it done, and whatchamacallit still got a hamstring, right? Your boy from LSU, Fournette.
Fournette, yeah. Yes, sir.
He's not even playing.
It don't matter. I still believe in that Jacksonville defense, so that's who I'm rolling with. We got Denver and New York at the Jets. That's kind of easy.
I'm going with Denver, even though whatchamacallit ain't thrown a touchdown in 4 games.
Rosen, I believe.
No, not
What's
Rosen.
what's the other one?
He used to be with Minnesota last year. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, you talking
Quarterback.
about Case Keenum?
Yeah, Keenum. Keenum hasn't thrown a touchdown. He's still savvy. He hasn't thrown a touchdown in 4 weeks, but that's why I'm saying Julio Jones ain't caught a touchdown. I mean, they both dangerous.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
And if don't forget, Denver still got their defense.
Exactly.
And as far as the Jets are concerned, Sam Darnold just can't do it by himself.
That's true. That's true.
He's better than I thought he was, to be honest.
He all right. He's exactly what I thought he was. Shoot, that's a good one too. Atlanta and Pittsburgh, even though their records don't say
Man,
they good. That's a good one.
You talking about some desperate teams right there.
Exactly.
For real, yeah.
Exactly. They in Pittsburgh.
Before the season started, a lot of people, not a whole lot, but a lot of people could see that as a Super Bowl matchup. If Le'Veon had showed up.
Now, what you think about Le'Veon, by the way, his situation? You agree with him coming back?
I think he shouldn't even said he coming back. He just should have just kept being non-committal and stay on that jet ski down there at South Beach. And basically do what he been doing, because Earl Thomas showed you what can happen.
Exactly. So,
and these fans, they don't get it. They act like players are just shiny toys. That they just, where's your loyalty? No, where's your loyalty? All these fans, they the first ones to cut somebody on some fantasy football or say somebody don't deserve the money because of the position they play based on cap. I get tired of all these analytical people that don't understand the passion of the game and understand these players need every penny that they earn, that they deserve. Just because Pittsburgh don't pay him properly doesn't mean he needs to just show up. He needs to leverage whatever he can leverage. And unfortunately, if teammates don't get it, that's their fault. As far as the fans, if y'all don't understand this, y'all being selfish. Not the player, the fans. Talk about some loyalty. Ask Dan Bailey about loyalty. Every time somebody asks me about loyalty, I say Dan Bailey. Because Dan Bailey is great, and I'm still mad at the Cowboys not re-signing him or cutting him. I still don't understand it. It made me mad.
Hey, the other kicker did, as Jerry called him, the other boy. He did hit the game-winning field goal.
And what did Jerry say? If he had missed him and Steven been down in South America,
that's true.
Fans would have ran them out of town.
Would have been out. They had to go.
Because you don't mess with that. But let me tell you. Let me just go into this Dan Bailey. I got a Dan Bailey theory on why he's not there. Now we know it's the money. You know, point is money. It got nothing to do with him overcoming an injury or he seemed like he wasn't suspect in training camp. I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. When they do the cuts, the last cuts of the year, they start the season. Every coach is trying to jockey to keep a certain number on his group. I have an X number wide receivers I need. I got X number linebackers I need. I got X number cornerbacks I need. I got X number running backs I need. Everybody's trying to lobby for their position group, right? Well, you got 9 new assistant coaches, all right? 9 of them. So when they cutting down to the last couple of cuts, ain't none of them ever had their job saved by Dan Bailey. Think about it. And Rich Masaccia, the special teams coach, he gone to Oakland. So there was nobody to stand up for Dan Bailey when you had to do a coin flip.
So
it wasn't like Dan lost the job because his job was not on the line. He said, well, you know what? Mihai, he's just as good as him. And was nobody there to back up Dan Bailey except Garrett, Marinelli, and Linehan, and that's just 3.
That's true. I give you that.
And Stephen Jones is about money. Oh, okay, I can save some money. Okay, good. Got him.
Yeah, so that's part of the reason why we don't have Dez, but we're going to get in that too.
That's another thing, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we have a couple more minutes, so I'm going to shoot through these pretty quick.
Okay, I'll be quick.
My boy is a Brooklyn fan. He's from Brooklyn. He's a Giants fan. We got Carolina and the Giants. I already know who's going to win this, but I'll let you...
Giants.
We'll see. I'll let
Cam and the Carolina Panthers. Go ahead.
Easy. Now, you got the Chargers at home versus the Raiders. Now, the Chargers have been practicing with crowd noise because they know they don't have any home field advantage. I feel bad for them. But I still take them to win this game. What about you, Chris?
I do too. They done figured themselves out. The Raiders, like I said, the referees won that game. Plus, I'm still mad at Chucky for trading Khalil Mack to the Bears. You don't do that. You don't. And on top of all that, understand the background. He never once talked to the man. How you going to take over a team and not talk to the team leaders? And Khalil Mack and Derek Carr are best friends. The 2 leaders on the team, you only talk to one? Come on now. I know what's up.
And then turned around and said we need a pass rusher after you got rid of your best pass rusher. So hey, that's another story.
He had no intention of having him on the squad.
True. And
it had nothing to do with personality. Listen, it had nothing to do with personality because he met the man. He never talked to him. He just came in and said, you know what? I'm putting my stamp on this team. So if we have any kind of success, I get all the credit. It's no different than Belichick benching Malcolm Butler. It's an ego thing.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's get to the next one. Minnesota at Philadelphia. Ooh, that's a good one.
Ooh. I'm going to go with Minnesota because I think they're a little bit more desperate. Philadelphia, they've already won their Super Bowl, and whatever they got after that is great. Everything they don't have to do nothing the next 10 years. They don't want a Super Bowl for them crazy fans.
That's true. Who you got on that one, Brooklyn?
I'm gonna go with the Vikings.
Who did you pick for the Oakland and Los Angeles game? Chargers. All right. Now next one, a game I don't think anybody cares about. Arizona and San Francisco.
Not even watching that.
Yeah, no more Jimmy G. I'm gonna have to go with Arizona. They gotta finally win the game at some point.
Yeah, they're desperate.
That's true. LA at Seattle. The Rams at Seattle.
Man, I love that showdown. That's a good matchup, but I think the Rams are for real. Let me tell you what the X factor on the Rams is. Everybody completely forgot about this. The reason, first of all, the head coach is a genius, offensive genius, right?
Mm-hmm.
People forget Dave Phillips is a defensive genius.
Exactly.
He ain't no head coach, but he's the one that's keeping all of them defensive personalities and that defense on point. Mm-hmm. Wade Phillips is a genius on defense. Mm-hmm. When he left Denver, I was like, how could Denver just let him get away like that?
Right. They ain't getting
remember all the players for Denver said that Wade won that Super Bowl for them.
Right, because he did. Yep.
It wasn't Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning just happened to hand the ball off.
Exactly. He couldn't even throw the ball. He couldn't even do a 10-yard out.
Exactly.
On that, so.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. But Wade Phillips definitely get a lot of credit, man. He got a lot of weapons this year as well on defense, even with the injuries.
Man, exactly. Like I said, he know what he's doing. He can handle all those personalities. They love him.
Right. So I think we all agree on the Rams on that one.
Yes.
I'm gonna skip this one for tonight. We'll go to Monday, New Orleans and Washington.
Yeah, I'm going with the Saints. In fact, that's who I picked to go to the Super Bowl this year.
I did too.
And the crazy thing is, I like the Rams a lot, but before I even saw the Rams play, I was going to New Orleans because they get some revenge going on. Plus, people don't know this. Sean Payton is so smooth. He took the entire team this summer to see Black Klansman, and that put that team together. Think about it. Imagine that whole squad going to see one movie, Black Klansman.
Wow.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know that. That's news right there.
That's some inside. That talk about put everybody on the same page.
Right.
Come on now.
All right.
Yeah, man, I miss Sean Payton being down here. Now, the main event for us. I don't know about Brooklyn. He's a hater, but the main event for us, Cowboys, Texans. Before we get into that, what do we have to do to get Dez Bryant back? Like, what is it gonna take?
Linehan getting fired. It doesn't have to necessarily be Garrett getting fired because Garrett actually liked Dez.
Right.
Linehan. And the only way Linehan gonna get fired is if the season collapses. Right now, the Cowboys wide receiver group is 29th in the NFL.
Ooh.
29th. And they lead the league in contested catches. You follow me?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that every catch that they make is contested, but they have more contested catches than anybody, which means ain't nobody scared of them.
Right.
You follow me?
Right.
The referees ain't calling nothing. And the only way Linehan is going to get fired is, like I said, the whole thing offensively collapse on him. And it's just still got to look a sore thumb. Tonight might be a good indication of whether he learned anything from the week before. I'm talking about Linehan. He's stubborn too.
Now, we went to that game last week. That's why we didn't do a podcast for the people that's watching us on YouTube and listening on Spotify. We actually took one of our subscribers to the game for free last week, just to show, thanks for subscribing and
appreciation.
Nice move.
So
yeah,
that's
some
what
love.
we're
Show
doing.
some love.
We plan on doing more. We have Cowboys games, Mavericks games, and all that coming up. Now we set up in the 400 section in the corner, so we was able to see the whole field. I paid attention to the wide receivers. They talked all their noise about getting open. Nobody was getting open. I can honestly say that. Then a few times they did get open, it was like 5 seconds, 7 seconds. Too late, basically.
Yep.
So, man, we have to get Dez back. We have to do something, man. We could have got Josh Gordon.
Well, like I said, Dez want to play for the Cowboys.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you something. I truly believe Jerry wants him to play for the Cowboys.
He do.
But as Jerry said to G-Bag Nation, it ain't in the Cowboys' best interest right now for Dez to be back. And what he's basically saying to me is that as long as Linehan is there, it ain't going to work. You follow me? Linehan can't trust Dez to keep his mouth closed and not tell the truth on him again. Dez told the truth on Linehan. and he wasn't being mean about it. The reporters just asked Dez last year before the Philadelphia game, before the last game of the year, they just lost Seattle, lost a chance to the playoffs, and they asked him about the offense being predictable, and Dez said, "Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is kind of predictable." He didn't realize that when he said that, he crossed over that invisible line. And mind you, that was the week everybody wanted Linehan fired because he didn't give the ball to Ezekiel Elliott on the goal line,
Right.
and could have beat Seattle. So Linehan, in his mind, he's thinking, if we lose 2 games in a row and Dez said the offense is predictable, he gonna get fired. So he fired Dez before Dez could get him fired. That's what this boils down to.
Okay, man. See, is this the last year? Do you think so for them? As far as the coaching staff?
You already got nine new coaches. So here's what's so crazy. Here's their excuses and their cushion. I'm talking about Garrett and the coaching staff. You got 9 new coaches. You basically turned over the entire coaching staff except for the 3 main coordinators. You still got a new special teams coach. So they got that excuse. And then instead of turning over the roster about 30%, they always churn the bottom of the roster about 30%. Every team does that. The Cowboys did 50% turnover on the roster. And it is now the youngest team on paper in the NFL. That's another excuse you tell management. I'm telling you the excuses these guys are used to keep their job. And that's why they claim the slow start and, the fans had a great expectation, but we don't have time because we got brand new young guys, we got new assistant coaches. But what the fans are noticing and what Jerry's noticing and Steven's noticing is that Chris Richard is great.
Right.
And if they have to chop off somebody's head, they can elevate Chris Richard. And Chris Richard knows somebody that can call some plays. He's been in the league playing, coaching at Seattle for at least 5 or 6 years, so he knows some offensive coordinators if it came down to it. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So they do see a replacement right there. It ain't like, okay, we got Marinelli and he's 100 years old and he'll take over if we have to fire Garrett. Jerry don't want to fire Garrett, and Garrett might position himself to just get rid of Linehan. You follow what I'm saying? But the whole point is this. Dez can't come back as long as Linehan's in the building. It is no different than when Jerry flew down there and told T.O. he had to fire him. He said, look, this is bigger than me and you. Me and you on the same page. He looked at T.O. He said, he was on one of them Italian restaurants. They got paper on the restaurant table, and he had a crayon, and he made a X right there. He said, this is me. He made an X over there. He said, that's you. He drew a line straight to each other. He said, me and you, we on the same page. Then he made a circle around all of them. He said, but this is the Cowboys. It's bigger than me and you. So that's what he basically told Dez. It's like, he got to do what he thinks best for the Cowboys, which is to let these coaches coach and lose their job, or coach and keep their job. Basically, he gave Linehan even more power in the offseason to hang himself. Either hang himself or get them out and get them to the playoffs. I said in the offseason, all year long, and I have not changed this, Jason Garrett cannot keep his job by just getting to the playoffs. They got to get to the Super Bowl. Not just the conference championship, the Super Bowl. Because everybody feels like he don't know what he's doing. He does not make in-game decisions.
Right.
He doesn't change anything. He coaches like he's got a dominant team. He's coaching like he's got the advantage. He doesn't have the depth. They're not at a dominant advantage. He's coaching like this team is the 90s Cowboys, where we just run the ball and the next man up. The next man up is not as good as the starter.
It don't work.
That's what almost got Dak killed in Atlanta last year. Chaz Green can't do what Tyron does.
Now,
But they wouldn't change him out. They wouldn't help him. They will call him the same stupid plays. They wouldn't have anybody else. Chip a linebacker. They said, Chaz, do what Tyron does.
Right.
As if he's Tyron. That's why Jason Garrett got to go. And to me, only a Super Bowl pitch. You don't have to win the Super Bowl. You just got to get in it.
Right.
To me, that's the only thing that keeps his job, because as this season goes on, these fans, they know what Zeke can do. And as far as tonight is concerned, you want to get to tonight's prediction?
Yeah, we can. I got one more thing about Gary. You say
Go
the
ahead.
Super Bowl. I personally think if he make it to the NFC Championship game, I think that'll save him right there. Win or lose, I think that'll save him.
I don't think so, but that's just my
I
opinion.
agree. I don't think so either.
What? The way Jerry is, the way Jerry love this dude, man. Y'all don't think if he make it to the
It's
NFC
about
Championship?
winning, man. You're trying to win.
But when the last time we been to the NFC Championship?
It would have to be. It would put it like this. Let me tell you how. If under your scenario, the way I see it, the only way he could keep his job in the NFC Championship game is if they were the wild card team, and for some reason he starts coaching and coached up a team that wasn't supposed to be there. You got to understand the Cowboys fans' mentality. Their mentality is, we are the Cowboys. It's our birthright to be in the Super Bowl.
Right.
And Jason Garrett has denied them their birthright. So even though Jerry doesn't want to get rid of Garrett, he loves Garrett. That's his son. But unless Jason Garrett acts like he's got a team that's injured, and all of a sudden they done coached them up and they done made a miracle run in the playoffs and made it to the NFC Championship. That's the only way. If this team, all hands will be full. It's kind of like old boy in Cincinnati. Getting to the playoffs don't mean nothing to them. They get to the playoffs. They ain't won a playoff game yet. Jason Garrett has won one playoff game.
Right.
If they win the NFC East, they're supposed to win the next game and get to the NFC Championship game.
Right.
They're supposed to. Not, we'll be lucky.
I don't know, man.
Let me explain the emotion real quick. This is the simplest way I can explain it. Remember 2 years ago when they went 13-3, right? 13-3.
Right.
They did not win that playoff game against Green Bay, and nobody was mad, right? Everybody's heartbroken because Aaron Rodgers made a hell of a play, but guess why nobody was mad? Because it was new, it was fresh, it was Dak, and it was Zeke. It was not, Romo couldn't win a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
If Tony Romo had been that quarterback, that wouldn't have been good enough.
It'd have been disappointment.
Right.
So I'm trying to tell you, Jason Garrett not getting to the Super Bowl ain't good enough. It ain't good enough.
Okay.
He's been there too long. Tony Romo would have been there too long, 13-3, and didn't win a playoff game. It would have been just like in 2000, whenever it was, when they went and played the Giants, and they lost that game, and it was like, wait a minute, we were 13-3, and Romo didn't win the playoff game.
Yeah, see, I think
Even
we
though
all agree.
Patrick Craig, my boy Patrick Craig dropped that, it was Romo going to Cabo.
Yeah.
It wasn't Patrick Creighton dropping the ball. It was Romo going to Cabo. And Romo can't win a playoff game.
Yeah, I think we all agree as fans and the people with common sense that it won't be good enough. I'm just going off of Jerry mindset and Jerry's recent history. I think if he makes the NFC Championship, no matter if we win that game or lose that game, Jason Garrett gonna keep his job.
You think Jerry's gonna sell that as progress, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So that's my
I'm
opinion.
telling you that. I'm telling you that the fans are gonna sell it like Romo couldn't win a playoff game. Garrett can't coach this team.
Yeah, the fans
But we'll
get
see.
mad.
But we'll see.
Yeah, we will.
We on the same side of the argument. I know what you're saying.
Right.
You throwing out the caveat the way Jerry might see it.
Right. So about tonight's game, how you feel about that? I just found out David Irvin is not playing. That's a disappointment.
No, he's
for
not.
me.
He's still up here. He didn't make the plane trip.
That's disappointing. I was looking forward to this dude, man.
But think about, I am too. But think about it. He ain't taking no snaps. He missed one of the practice. I think he missed Wednesday's practice. It ain't like he's out of shape because but he ain't in football condition.
Right. So tonight I have Dallas by 3. I know Brooklyn has us losing because he's a Cowboy hater.
No, actually, I have you guys winning.
Really?
I have no faith in Texans at all.
Really?
I don't see you guys losing that game at all.
Okay.
It'd be nice. We're in the same division. It'd be really nice.
Huh.
But I don't see it happening. I'm going Cowboys on that one.
Who you got, Chris?
This is I'm calling this the Scott Linehan Bowl. To see if he's learned his lesson. Here's the deal. This is what's going to come down to. The Cowboys have a great running game. It's all about Ezekiel. He leads the league in rushing. All right. He is the epitome of their entire offense. Their offenses on wide receiver passing game is terrible. It's suspect.
Right.
Houston's defense can stop the running game, but they are terrible against the passing game.
Right.
So you would think, okay, Scott Linehan, can you figure out how to take advantage of Dak throwing the ball? The most logical thing he could do is do what he did last week, which is make Zeke the number one receiver. Okay? You would think he would figure out, put Zeke in the slot, do some creative things to soften up the running game, make Zeke a receiver.
True.
All right? I mean, that's what they do with Le'Veon Bell. That's what they do with Gurley. They do it all the rest of. They only did it with Zeke last week for the first time. The first when Zeke was a rookie, he was number 27 in running back catching the ball, targeting the ball, getting targeted. So it's up to Linehan to recognize this. And to me, the only other person who has a chance of exposing that Texans defense is Tavon Austin. And all them tight ends get more snaps than Tavon Austin, which to me is ludicrous. So it's up to Scott Linehan. And I'm thinking he ain't got no choice but to do it. Why wouldn't he do it? If he don't do it, all hell should break loose. I say the Cowboys by 1 point.
I personally want to see more Tavon, Gallup,
oh my goodness,
and Beasley on the field together with Zeke in the backfield.
I agree with you. And let me tell you why they don't do that. It's crazy. They claim that all of them too short.
I mean,
isn't that crazy?
Man, but they can get past. Those are the ones that can get past.
He'll have all those tight ends who can't even block out there running around.
Yes, but those three,
absolutely
they
insane.
It's
insane.
It's crazy, man. I don't understand it at all. I feel like every time the Cowboys do something stupid, I just hop on Madden and just correct all their mistakes myself so I can feel better. That's
like I said, this is Linehan. This is all Linehan. Jared gave him enough rope to hang himself or quote unquote untied him so that he can win some games. Let's see.
Now, one more thing before we let you go, Chris. Once again, Chris Arnold from 105.3 The Fan, back in the day, K104, 1310 The Ticket. You can also catch him at the Mavericks games. Yes, sir. Voice of the Mavericks Arena. We have all that. Special guest today, man. Once again, we appreciate you joining us today, Chris.
Sure.
Now, one more thing before we let you go. Earl Thomas situation. Do you agree with him giving the middle finger or no?
I think he was doing that to the coach, but what always happens is every time a player does something like that, these experts who think they know, they don't know, and they jump to a conclusion. The national pastime is jumping to a conclusion. I remember when you see Dez all in Romo's face, and they were saying, look at Dez, he's so selfish. And then you hear on the NFL mics, because the NFL Network got it mic'd up, he said, Tony, don't give up, man, we still got this.
Right.
And if none of them experts apologize, they jump to conclusions all the time. I truly believe that Earl Thomas was probably giving the finger to Pete Carroll, saying, see what happened. But instead, they generalize and say, oh, we're giving the finger to the entire Seattle team, the sideline. Look at him. So I wish he hadn't have done it, only because it was left open to interpretation.
Right.
Otherwise, I know how he felt. And most of his other players in the league, they vouched for Earl and said, you know, he caught up in the moment. He said his leg broke. I understand the passion. Said, look what happened. See, I came out here to do what I could do for y'all, and look what happened.
Right.
This is why I needed that extension.
And see,
everybody knows he's right. Ain't nobody mad at it.
Right, exactly.
Except for analytical people who think they know it all. Oh, you can't give him any money. Look at his age. I tell you, the great ones, Earl Reed. Ed Reed. I go down to the big names. They stay around till they're mid-30s. He's only 29.
Mm-hmm. That's true, man.
And this is what kills me. These analytical people who overvalue draft picks. You know, first of all, it depends on who you pick with that draft pick. I'm serious. I can't even tell you how. Oh no, that's a second round pick. That's what. Earl Thomas is an all-pro, a perennial all-pro.
Right. Game changer.
How in the world can you tell me a second round pick is more valuable than a perennial all-pro? Or don't tell me his age, because we're talking about a safety, not a running back.
Exactly. Right.
It drives me crazy when they do that. And then when they talk about draft pick, I'd have drafted a cornerback instead of Zeke. You know what I said it? I got 2 words for him. Mo Claiborne. And the reason I say Mo Claiborne was SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Exactly. He had the pedigree. Didn't nobody complain when the Cowboys moved up to get him. They thought they stole him. And he never did adjust. He was supposed to be Patrick Peterson all over. He played with Patrick Peterson. He was part of that. You know, Brooklyn, you know about LSU?
Yeah, he was.
There was
He was
no
out there.
reason that Mo Claver should have failed. So don't tell me about draft picks instead of a all-pro safety. Don't tell me about, because I can go ahead and you talk about second round picks. Don't let me talk about them tight ends the Cowboys been drafting. They never did that in the second round.
Yeah,
What's his name? The one that's backing up Jason Witten. They finally got rid of him. What's his name? Could never catch nothing. What's his name? Gavin Escobar.
Escobar, yes sir. Yeah.
Don't let me keep talking. Don't let me go down the list of stuff. Just look it up on the Google.
Is he still in the
So
league?
every time some quote unquote nerd online try to argue about, oh, that's a second round pick. Shut up.
Right. I'm with you on that, Chris. I'm definitely with you on that. So we have our predictions, man. Once again, we're joined by special guest Chris Arnold from 105.3 The Fan.
Yes, sir.
This is what Lou. We got Brooklyn over here. One more quick question: who is the real DBU, Florida State or LSU, Chris? Think about it.
I'm not. Y'all got to get along and do a show together. I can't pick a side between y'all.
Nah.
Y'all still got to be on there when I'm gone.
Hey, look, this is a good question. We play a game every week called Choosing, where I give scenarios like this, almost like Jesse's Got to Go on The Fan. But
Yeah.
Before we let you go, I just want to throw that one at you. Who is the real DBU? Like, who has the best defensive backs and putting them in the
I
NFL?
know. I'm gonna have to go Florida State only because Prime went there.
Thank you. That's all I wanted to hear, Chris. That's all I wanted to hear.
It started
Give me
with
a punch to
Prime.
the gut.
It's like Prime is raising y'all's grade point average just by being on the bench.
Exactly. And then you got the best corner in the game today, Jalen Ramsey. Come on.
Okay.
Come on, man.
I can't argue right
If
now.
I had time, I would go down the whole list of who we got in the league right now. LaMarcus Joyner, all of them. So, but again,
you still lost yesterday.
y'all lost to Florida.
That's all right.
I bet we'd be Florida. You see the stuff I have to deal with, Chris, every time I get on.
Yeah,
here,
that's
man.
why I say y'all gotta get along.
But man,
y'all got, but no, but it's good debate. I love the way y'all handle the debate.
yes sir. Once again, thank you so much. Thank you so much
Yes, sir. Thank you.
for joining us. Hopefully,
Oh yeah, anytime, y'all. I
hopefully we
enjoyed
can
it
get you
too.
back. Maybe talk some Mavericks once the season started.
Sure.
And again, to the people that's watching us on YouTube and listening to us on Spotify, subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. We will be giving out Mavericks tickets. We went to the Stars game. We actually met Gavin Spittle at the Stars game the other night, Chris.
Did he buy you a beer? He's good.
Well,
Great
I
man.
just actually wanted to talk to him. But he was very friendly, very nice guy to meet.
He is the hockey hawk.
Yes, sir. So my first time at the Stars game, that was a great experience. So we will be passing out tickets to that as well, top subscribers, man. But once again, thank you guys for listening. Thank you again, Chris, for joining us. And
Much
we will be
appreciated.
right back at you.
Much
Brooklyn 214
appreciated.
Podcast.
All right, that'll work. Y'all take care.
Yes, sir. You
You
too.
too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.